Alright everyone, and welcome to the interior tour and cockpit familiarization part of lesson number 6. So here we are finally inside the cockpit of the F-18 Hornet. Um, I know, you guys thought that the day would never come, but we are finally in the cockpit, and vast majority of our lessons going forward will be from the cockpit. So pretend that it is an F-18D model with a backseater, and I would be your backseater, and you are in the front seat, and we're going to learn a great many things together about the F-18 Hornet. We are here in Kabuleti, which is going to be our home airfield in the Caucasus map, and let's get going with learning about the F-18 cockpit. So, when you, so let's pretend, let's not pretend, I can imagine the first time that I stepped into an F-18 cockpit. I'm trying to remember like what I must have felt like. Uh, I mean, today when I look at it, and I only, as I said in my intro videos, I only have about 7 months of experience in this thing, maybe um, a little bit more. But I mean, today there isn't much I don't know about the F-18 cockpit, but I trust me, there's even to this day, there's probably things that I keep learning, little things that keep creeping up, and it's absolutely insane that even after 1,000 hours, there's something you learn about your aircraft, which is kind of something I find very exciting and cool. That there's such level of detail that um, that it takes so long to learn, but at the same time, um, when you do learn it, you feel like it's your aircraft. You really accomplish something, and it feels like home. You jump into the cockpit and it's such a great thing. And I will throw up an image on when I went to a Canadian Air Force air show, and I stepped into the cockpit of an FA-18's CF-188 Canadian Air Force's F-18 cockpit, and there was a pilot there, and I could recognize everything. It was absolutely amazing. I was like, "Yep, the battery's there, the APU is there, this and that, and the other thing." And the guy's like, "Oh, how do you know all these things?" I'm like, "Huh? Well, I do. DCS. I'm a DCS pilot." And the guy was very impressed that I knew everything about the cockpit. Right? I'm like, I could have started the jet right there. But so that was one of the coolest things. That like that was amazing. Anyways, let's get going. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna start from the left and go all around the cockpit and basically make sure that we're gonna go over everything, all the main buttons and things and what they are, and a little bit about their function. Now I do notice that this part is a bit mm, it's a bit dark, so I don't know if I should change the direction of my aircraft, but for now I think we're gonna keep it. Hopefully it's clear enough. Um, okay, so first of all, on the standard method of all my videos, key bindings that are required and how to set this up for yourself. So we already in the mission editor know how to get into this hot start or a cold start, so I'm not going to go over that. And we already went over the key bindings. I guess the only one for a cockpit, so we went over the track IR. The only one you will see me doing is the zoom in and out. As I said, I do use the mouse and also my um, joystick. So let's go over that because so you type in zoom, right? Zoom in slow. So I have both a something on my stick and on my mouse, two buttons on my mouse, and that's how I do it. So um, if you notice me zooming in and out, that's how it works. So anyways, let's get started from the left. So let's zoom in here. Um, and as I said, some things I don't even know about. Like this, I never use. This is hydraulic override, norm override. Like, don't know what this does. So yeah, there you go. I will admit I don't know things. Um, this is the amount of oxygen flow. So and the oxygen is on. So if this is off, on. This is your onboard oxygen that you need. You know, because at altitude you need oxygen, and if you don't have oxygen, your pilot will faint and you will have a bad day. So you want to turn on your oxygen, and that's what that is. Then moving on, crypto, blah blah blah, master. Let's get this out of the way. If I don't use it on a regular basis, you can go and there's a ton of other videos out there, and you can figure out what they are. Um, but I'm not going to go over things that I don't use. As I said, I want this to be practical and something that you guys can use. Channel, UFC manual. Again, I don't know. ILS UFC manual switch. So this is an ILS to switch the ILS channels. Um, I think this is for the ICLS. I don't know. I'll probably ask my squad mates and figure out what this is. Again, I don't use it, so don't care. Same thing with these guys, and same thing with these guys. So this entire panel, the only thing you need to worry about is put on your oxygen, and that's it. That's the only thing I ever worry about in this area here, and I haven't had to use anything else. So yeah, stick to what we need. This I did use. These are all your volume for controls for inside your cockpit. This is your TACAN. If you turn this on, it's going to produce a noise that you know um, from your TACAN. I usually keep it off. It's to identify it, I think. Mids A and B are your channel 3 and 4 in your Hornet. You want these on. Aux is your second channel, I'm pretty sure. Weapon, this is probably your weapon tones. I can't really read what that is. ICS. Okay, so I think this is the intercom system, potentially, for communicating with your ground crew, I imagine. Again, I don't use that one very often. The main one I use is this one, is the RWR, is your radar warning receiver. When bad people are shooting at you and it's like, whoa, you know, like in your ear, and you're like, holy shit. You know, if you go into a high threat environment, this thing is going to be on all the time. So what you want to do is I just reduce this volume generally, because otherwise you're going to go crazy. Hot mic, cold mic is, I'm not even sure if, okay, this is the volume. Again, never use this. Yeah, just keep it there. All right. This is your rudder trim, takeoff trim push button. So um, when you push this button, it resets your flight control systems, and when you click this, it goes to 12 degree of um, takeoff trim for your ailerons, and this is extremely important. Every time you do a cold start, you want to reset, push this button, and then push this button. Just tell me how I know is if you don't do that, you get to the end of the runway, you pull back, full back on your stick, and you still can't take off, and that's because you didn't have the right trim. And there's been more than a few times I almost hit the damn trees at the end of the runway. So yeah. This is your engine crank, is to start your left and right engines. Well, it's kind of self-explanatory. We're going to go over that during startup. This is your auxiliary power unit. It's the little jet engine that gives power to your aircraft and to your bleed air to your engines to start them before your main engines start, and gives power and bleed air to your aircraft and system. You turn it. This is how you turn on the APU. This is your refueling probe. Right click, left click, whatever to extend and retract. I have this bound. This is basically what I use when you have an external tank. It prioritizes having fuel on your main tanks and draining those first before draining the external fuel tank. I usually do that. So wing and center, and I'm basically when you do that, um, you see in the fuel you have 12,000 total external and your internal quantity. You see how it's transferring right now. Um, so my internal fuel is increasing, and my external fuel is decreasing. So what's happening is it's transferring from my external fuel tank, that's my belly tank, and it's putting it into the wings. You see how this is going up? And that is useful because if you're in a common environment, you want to, so there you go, now it's maxed up, my internal is maxed up. You want to have the maximum amount of internal fuel if you, let's say you have to jettison, right? So always put these on, it's a good idea. This is your fuel dump, especially when you come back to the carrier and you're too heavy. You click this and it dumps fuel from the back of your aircraft. This is your dispense button, but it's bound to dispense your countermeasures and all of that. Chaff flare, and it's bound to my joystick, so I don't usually use it. This is the throttle, and this is the parking brake, so it's a good thing that I have it on. And that is the flight control system bitching at me. But the reason I do that is because there's stuff in the back here. So internal wing. These are like the lighting panels behind here. So there's knobs for. Am I moving? Okay, no, not moving. All right, good. Formation. So off, on, and you change the brightness. You usually want this off. Unless you're operating at night, you put this all the way. You want as much all your lights on when you're launching from a catapult and landing, so that everybody sees you. And then as soon as you've landed, you use the kill switch, which is this guy right here. Exterior lights switch on off. It's a little pinky thingy majigger on your throttle, but you want to bind that on your throttle probably, or whatever you want. This knob is hard to see, but you can see it's the position lights. Those are the green and red lights and white lights that we talked about in the external tour. Like this is fully off, like this is fully on, and this is like medium brightest. And behind that you have your anti-strobe. You can have them bright, off, or dim, and those are the red lights on the back of the airplane that we talked about. This I have no idea. It's internal wing tank fuel control switch. Yeah, never used it. Don't know what it is. Somebody wants to say so. What they use it for in the comments? Yeah, feel free. Uh, these are your ground power control panel for external power. When you have external power, which we're gonna talk about later. Basically, this puts power to various systems within your aircraft from external power, such as your different displays and radios and things like that. We're not going to worry about that right now, but just know that that's what those are. This is your fire test, A and B, and you do that during startup. I usually don't because it's a simulator and I want to start up fast and not spend forever, especially if there is no simulated failures, which typically they're not, you know, enabled like for most missions in that I fly. So yeah, it's good to know, like in the startup procedure. WAGs will tell you to do this, and this is the proper procedure. You do that, but I skipped this step. But anyways, that's what that is the fire test to make sure their fire protection systems are working. All right, next, hook bypass. This is the hook in the back of your aircraft. If there's fuel and carrier, and all of this does is right here there's an AOA indicator, and I think, and then if you put it on in field mode, like that thing is just not gonna. What was it? Trying to remember. There you go. There's a hole in my knowledge. All I know is that you in the field you put it here, in the carrier you put it there. So there you go. That's a little gap in my knowledge. I think it has to do with the AOA bracket and what it shows. Um, and I think if you put it in field, like it doesn't give you a warning that your hook is not knocked down, something like that. I don't know. I'll look it up and put it in the comment section. That's your taxi light that we talked about. It's bound to one of my HOTAS. This is the launch bar that I talked about in the external view in front of your gear to attach to your jet to the catapult. I've also got that bound, but usually I use it from here. Brake pressure, well, it's exactly what it is. Parking brake, so let's push our brakes, and so if you left click, it's disengaged, and if you left click again, it goes to the right, right click, left, like right click to the right, left click to the left, and then if you go with the scroll wheel, you can pull it back up. So right now it is engaged. If I left click, it is disengaged. So to engage it, you go left click and back on your scroll wheel, and now it's engaged. And I'm pretty sure, yeah, there you go. Anyways. Anti-skid is like your kind of like your ABS on your car and prevents you from skidding. You want it on for airfields and off for carriers. So we're in airfield, we keep it on right now. Flaps, this is full flaps down, this is half flaps, this is automated, meaning that the jet decides what the flaps should be based on speed and AOA and all that stuff. I have this bound as well, so as you can see. You want half for takeoff, full for landing, and auto on cruise, typically. The jettison system. This is to jettison things from your aircraft. We're not going to go over exactly how to use that, but this is just to basically throw stuff, let go of your munitions or your everything that's like hanging from your aircraft because you want to you're low on fuel and you want to lose weight, or you're about to enter a dogfight, or you're about to evade, and that's what you do. Anyways, this is your gear lever, and it is bound, so I don't use it. It will flash, when it's being activated, and if you break it, it will flash and it will have the most annoying fucking sound ever. And it took me 6 months to figure this out, but there's a warning silence button right here. Oh my god, this was the greatest find ever when I did find this. It is right here. It is extremely hard to see. It was godsend, because otherwise all the way to landing you're gonna be having to hear that tone and you wanna like eject rather than keep listening to that thing. These are your vents, and you can actually move them. I didn't know that. That's very cool. So yeah, so this is your left console. I forgot to mention this is your left panel, I think. Um, and this is your front panels. Um, this is your emergency jettison and emergency canopy jettison. This is your master arm if you want to employ weapons. Um, it basically arms your weapons, all of your weapons. Without this, you can't shoot anything. With this, you can. Air to ground and air to air is the mode. So if I go air to ground, it will select air to ground mode on my displays, and air to air will select air to air. This is, I think, a caution light, if I remember. Fire extinguisher push button. Oh, okay, that's what it is. You remember, guys, when Phoenix in Top Gun 2 had engine failures, and she tried to restart? Go watch that scene, because what she does is, I think she turns the APO on, and then she goes left engine crank or right engine crank, and she tries to go through a restart. And when she can't, she clicks this button that extinguishes the fire on the engines. And as a DCS pilot, I was like, wow, that is cool. Anyways, um, before we go to the MFDs, let's go to this panel here, which is the uh, engine information, electronic information system. IFA, I think it's called. Excuse me. You can change the brightness. I hate when I don't remember acronyms. Engine information, in-flight engine information, or something like that. Basically, it's engine information. So this is your temperature, probably your turbine inlet temperature or exhaust temperature. Most likely turbine inlet temperatures. Uh, when you increase the throttle, it increases them. This is your fuel flow in the hundreds of pounds. So right now we're just sitting here. We're doing 600 pounds per hour. If I increase, there's like 3,000 right per hour. This is the nozzle openings. I think I never noticed that. That is very cool. So it shows when you increase. Here, let's go and take a look at that. When you increase the it shows. You see how it goes smaller. That's what that is. Uh, anyways, this is oil pressure in psi. This is your total fuel within your jet, as noted by the T. This is your internal fuel, as noted by the I, in pounds, 11,000 pounds. In naval aviation, we always refer to it as 11.0 or 12.3. We don't talk about the rest of it. So if somebody is like, hey, Winder 1-2, state fuel, or what's your fuel state? And I'll be like, yeah, it's 12.3. Now it's 12.2 or whatever. Bingo. The bingo is the amount of fuel that you need to get back home. As simple as put. Click this in hundreds, it will set your bingo and it will give you a reminder or alarm when you reach it. Typically, we set it to 6,000. Sorry, we set it to 5,000, and 6,000 is Joker. Joker is just a warning before bingo. That's what that bingo is coming up. This is your time in a local, I'm pretty sure. ET, what does ET do? Zone. Okay, so this is to switch the time between Zulu, which is UTC, Universal Time, and local. Quantity, I think this is the details of your fuel left and right wings, probably, and all of that good stuff. Yeah, it's wing and center. Anyways, that's all the different mode. I don't know what mode does. Oh my god, what did I do? Anyways, I never messed with that, so um, this is your lights that indicate your nose, left and right, you know, gears are green because they're down. These I'm actually not sure what they are, to be honest. It was on the bottom. Probably related to the gear. These are your jettison select. This is like when you want to jettison your stores, you select which station. So you have left inner, right inner, left outer, right outer, center. So that's that. This is all video recording stuff that is on the real aircraft. We don't worry about it, so don't worry about it. Now, before going to the displays, I guess let's go to this guy here. These are your backup instruments. This is your attitude indicator. With right click you can change it and when you start the jet it has a red thing here that says it's caged so it doesn't move. To uncage it you just right click and go like this, and if you center it and it will be uncaged. And it says left mouse button to cage, hold right mouse and rotate. Okay, you see this thing? I don't remember how to cage it. Just finish your airplane. There you go. So to cage it, you left click and then you right click, and then you move. You kind of like move the knob, and it's caged. So right now it's can't move. And to uncage it, you right click, and you move it so that it's centered. So that's that. This is knots. What is that? Like, what the hell is that? true airspeed maybe? Never really looked at that. Um, this is your altitude, backup altitude, and this is your altimeter setting, 2992. Um, and it says inches of mercury, HG. So when you contact tower, they'll tell you that. And this is important because so to change this is left with the left mouse. Let's say you see how it changes the altitude. So this is important because, like, let's say you had it here, like you're off by 100 feet in your altitude, and if you're in instrument conditions, you're basically dead. So that's why it's important to set it correctly, and that's why ATC usually always gives you the altimeter settings. So yeah, you want to set this to whatever setting is correct. This is your vertical speed in thousands feet per minute. Again, backup. This is your RWR, and it's basically showing you threats from enemy radars and missiles, and it'll show over here. And that's that. Man, okay, let's get this let's continue here. So to hide your stick, you left click here, or you backspace. Right here you have your center console. This is your cabin pressure. Um, this I don't know. This rudder pedal adjust lever, we don't use that shit. This is your dispense, so it's either auto, on, or bypass. And anytime you're wondering about something, just leave the cursor over it. Dispenser switch, bypass, on, off, right? So right now it's off, and it'll tell you, so it's very useful. So now I'll say on, and it means that it's in an automated sequence, like it'll automatically dispense, and bypass means you bypass and you manually dispense it, and that's what I usually use. This is your electronic countermeasures. Like this is off, standby is standby, bit is a test, receive is how you usually use it. This is basically your radar warning receiver, and it's gonna give you signals like warnings of missiles and aircraft. And if you go transmit, it's gonna start sending jamming signals. So this is electronic warfare basically. So it'll try to jam the enemy SAMs or enemy aircraft's radars, so that they can break lock. Receive is how you usually use it. This is the on-off button, very hard to see, and uh, but this actually turns this whole system on. Without that, you don't turn it on. And this is useful. It's an offset. We'll talk about that later. These are the displays. That's all I'm gonna say there. Yeah, we'll get to the displays later because they are their own thing. Then you got here in the middle. This is your UFC panel, up front control panel. So this is your radar knob. If you left click on it, that's a radio main radio, and this is aux radio. So if we say aux is this is also referred to as COM1, COM2, main, aux. Okay, if we ever refer to aux or sorry, primary and auxiliary, 1 and 2. Okay, and if you click here, yeah, that's what that is. I'm trying to, sorry, guys, I'm trying to determine how much I want to get into this, because it's going to be a very, very long video, but I guess let's get it out of the way. If you rotate your mouse wheel, you're going to go through the channel presets for COM1. Remember in the mission editor we said that you have presets, so that's what these are: 6, 5, 4. So what happens is you see here's the preset and here's the frequency. It's 256.000, so 256, and it is the AM. This is clicked. Like this is FM, like this is AM. You just click on this button. So you always, generally you want to leave it in AM. We don't talk in FM very much, but if you wanted to, you would go FM. Okay. This is your squelch. You want to keep that on. It prevents like any noises. And there's cipher stuff. We're not going to go into that stuff. The encryption stuff. All you need to know is this is your channels. It goes up to 20. These are presets. You can change any preset. So if channel 13, you're like, screw 269, I need something else. You go clear. You now call it 25098 0. So 250.98. Enter. So that's now your channel 13. You go here, 14, 15 is all the other ones. You go back to 13 and it's, oops, and it's 250.98. That's exactly, it'll remember it. So it's super easy to use. You can do the same thing here on the right. So you have 40 channels, very useful. Past channel 20, it cycles back to the beginning. So you go G is guard. It's 243 or 121.5. They're either emergency or like guard is a universal channel. But I don't want to get into the radio. Sorry guys, I'm getting off track here. Anyways, this is how you operate your radios. We'll go over it in the radio menu. Radio. Sorry, I got off track there. We're gonna keep it simple here. That's how you change your radio frequencies. This is your COM1 volume, COM2 volume, and this is your ADF if you want to go to an automatic direction finding equipment, which is your it's just a navigation aid. We'll go over it later. IP, I have no idea what that is. Brightness, this is the brightness of UFC. This is, and then you have here at the bottom, you have autopilot. This is your autopilot functions, which we're going to go over later. IFF is the friend and foe identification system. TACAN is it's one of the TACAN navigation system. ILS is instrument landing system, which for the Hornet is just on the carrier, and it's because it doesn't have land-based ILS. So this should really say ICLS. D is data link. This I have no idea. Beacon. I have never used it. And this is just to turn on and off any whatever you've chosen. This is your HUD mode. Reject 1, reject 2, and it's the amount of information that you want to display on your HUD. So that's what that is. This is the brightness of your HUD, I'm pretty sure. Yep. This is night and day mode, probably for your HUD, yes. And this is the level for black level. I think that's for one of these MFTs, I would have to remember. And this video control, probably related to that. And this is balance control. I think this is for radios. I never use it. AOA is your angle of attack indicator. Is this little thing here. We'll go over later. It shows you your angle of attack, and this is the brightness for it. This is switching if you want barometric or radar altitude or altimeter. If you switch it to radar, it will put an R on your HUD, and we're gonna go over that later. That's where it is. And this, I don't remember what that is. This stuff we're gonna go over when we talk more in detail about the MFDs. But all you gotta know for the MFDs is to turn them off is like this. This is night mode. Right click again. You're in day mode. And your brightness and contrast for your screens are this guy and this guy. You left click to change it, such as thus, and so on and so forth. These things are called push buttons, and this is how you manipulate the screens. They each have a number, and pilots generally remember what they are. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it goes here to 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and this should be 19. There we go. Left MDI push button 19. So what that means is left multi-display information system push button 19, and this is something you can bind. So when you go into your bindings and you're like, oh, I want to bind the push button 19 on the left MDI, then this is what that is, and you can go look at it. If I want this button, it would be right MDI push button 13, and here it would be AMPCD. So that's the multi-color display. I should probably know what that stands for. Color display, multi-purpose color display, something like that. So this one is a color display, and these are like green, not color. So that's that. This is called the left digital display indicator, DDI. This is called the right DDI, or digital display indicator, and this is called the MFD, or multifunction display, or AMPCD is actually, I guess, the technical terminology. But just to refer to it as in flight will be left DDI, right DDI, center MFD. Whew, that was a handful. That's the front of our jet. So we're almost done. We just have to go to the right panel. So let me give my neck a break and go like this. There we go. Alrighty, right panel. I forgot about this. This is here override. I don't know. Somebody tell me what this is. Forgot. This is very important. This is your helmet display brightness. So if you turn this on, it's going to turn on this thing, which is your head-mounted display, or JHAMX. I can't remember what it stands for. It's just a head-mounted display that shows the information on your HUD when you turn your head. Yeah, coolest thing ever. And we're going to go over what that is. And if you turn it off, boom, it's off. Spin recovery. This is you know, probably something that spin helps you recover from a spin. I should try it sometime. That's gonna be a good video to try that out. Here you have your hook, which, as I said, is bound for me. So obviously when the hook, this is yellow, means it's probably coming down. I imagine it will go green. No, it does not. Could have, would have been nice. This is your radar altimeter in hundreds of feet. You right click this and you see this bug. Now it says to 300, 200, 100, 400, 600. And you generally want to set it in this range. And if you go completely back, you see the light goes off and it's off. So when you try to go here and you click radar altimeter and you see that there's a B, flashing B, you're like, that means it's barometric. And it's flashing because like means that you think it's radar altimeter, but it's not. So that's why it's flashing. All you have to do is you wanna right click, set it. That's pretty cool. Yeah, so if you push it, it will do like its tests. It's very cool. Anyways, now you'll see an R there because it's working, so it's happy. Anyways, that's what that is. This is hydraulic pressure, and this is something that probably don't care about. This is the folding wings. So if you go, right now it's in the locked and open position. So if you go scroll wheel back, you unlock it, and the thingies are still like that. If you left click, nothing happens because it's just not completely done. If you left click again, it will start doing this so that you save space on the carrier. And it's one of the coolest thing in the Hornet that you can do that. and if you go right click again, they go back down. See, an F-16 can't do that, right? Even the Tomcat. I mean, this is like next level. Tomcats and sweeping wings. I think this is cooler. Anyways, okay, that's what that is. And if you want to lock it, you go forward scroll, and it will lock. Anyways, right console. So this is right panel, and this is right. Sorry, right. I think it's called the right panel. This is the right console. Anyways, something like that. This is your generator, left gen and right gen. Typically, you just leave it on normal, which is, you know, like this. You're switching their gen, and so that's not a good thing. So you never just leave them on norm. This is your battery on, off, and override. This is the first thing you click when you start a jet. Then we have cabin pressure. Don't really care about that. We want practical stuff, right? Temperature control. So this is probably all of your you know, ECS mode. What is this? Yeah, this is all like your cabin air and stuff like that. Temperature for your suit. Yeah, you don't care about that shit because it's a simulator. Anti-as pitot. The pitot is what measures your speed, and it is probably these things on the left. Interesting. I don't know actually where the pitot is on. Yeah, let's zoom in here. Like that thing is a static port. Oh, there it is, right here. This thing here, that's the pitot tube. Air goes into that thing and it tells you how fast you're going. If it clogs up with ice, then you're gonna have a bad day. You're not gonna have any airspeed indication. So yeah, so on cold days when the temperature is cold, that's when you want to pay attention. You want to turn that thing on. I'm pretty sure this is the static port. And yeah, so good stuff. So if it's a cold day, you can just go pitot on and do that. If it's not, you don't do it. Anti-ice for the engine cowling, same thing. Bleed air. This is if you want to shut off your bleed air going to your engines or between your engines. And when you do a fire test, you actually have to rotate this knob 360 degrees to reopen your bleed airs. That's why I don't do the test, because I don't want to deal with that stuff. Defog. Well, this is probably what it sounds like. It's anti-fog for your canopy. Never really messed with it. This is your canopy open. You right click, it opens, and you left click, closes. I usually use Control C, but that's what that is. You want to keep it hold until it's completely, you know, locked in. This is your instrument panel. This is actually important. So this is your consoles, your instrument panel, and your floodlights, charts lights, and warning caution lights. At night, this becomes very important, and we're gonna go more over that, you know, on the night missions or night lessons. This is the night vision goggle mode for the entire panel. You can go day, night, MVG, whatever. It helps you with night NVG. This is your forward-looking infrared. It's a camera that you can install on the Hornet to help you target. You're gonna learn a lot more about this. Basically, it's how you target and blow shit up, whether it's aircraft or, well, especially ground targets. This is your laser target designator. It's basically what shoots a laser out of this camera looking thing, and it helps you deliver laser guided bombs for yourself or for your buddies. This is laser spot track. This is for you to search other people's lasers. This is the radar, standby operating, and that's about it. So right now we're cooking everybody. I'm kidding. It's probably got weight on wheels, and we are not cooking everybody. Here we have the INS. This is quite important, very, very important. So you start off in a cold start on the off, and then you basically go through. Yeah, we'll go through that in this cold start. But this is your inertial navigation system. It's basically how the aircraft, the moving maps and your coordinates and everything. It's how the aircraft keeps track of your navigation. This is your encryption thingy majigger for your KY58 is your encryption for your radio. Haven't really used it much, so yeah. Windshield anti-ice probably is what it sounds like. Haven't really used that. And this little button is to test your FCS bit switch. So this, with your FCS, test your flight control systems during startup. And this is your flashlight. And I think it's left control L or something like that for your flashlight. So, first of all, I hope that the video recorded that, because I swear to God, I would probably not want to do that again. And it is the reason why I wanted to record this, because it is kind of taxing. Like, let's say there was 20 students, and each time one of them asked me, like, can show me what in the cockpit, and I'm like, so that's why this is like, once a video like this comes out, or a video like the many that are out there on the YouTubes, this is not something any instructor really needs to teach you. You just need to watch these videos once or a couple times, and it has all the information. So there should be, once you watch a video like this, or any of the cold start videos, or the tutorial that's in game, there should be nothing preventing you from knowing everything that is in the cockpit and doing a startup on your own. There might be a few things that you might have questions about, or that you're stuck on for some reason. Then you go to somebody and you ask them for help. That way you free up all of those, the valuable time of instructor pilots or DCS people who want to help you. And they can focus on things, that a video cannot teach you. So that's the goal. And we don't want to see lazy pilots. If I'm teaching any pilot and they show that they're lazy and they don't listen, they don't do, I'm not going to spend my valuable time, teaching them. It is important that pilots are willing to learn, they want to learn, and they're willing to do their homework, which means watching videos, reading materials, and learning on their own. All right, with that out of the way, I think that covers the cockpit of the F-18, and I hope that was useful. There are many other videos that cover the cockpit of the F-18, but this was my video and the way I wanted to present it. And maybe there were things that other videos did not cover, so I wanted to make sure that it was covered. And let's say hi to our Hawkeye friends. Hello. And yeah, hope this was useful and clear. And I try to make it as concise as possible. And so now we are ready to go to lesson number 7, which is probably going to be cold start. Actually, no, I think lesson 7 is in the air, and cold start is after that. Anyways, I'll double check. But yeah, we are going to keep being in the cockpit, and we're going to keep learning, and very soon we will be out there in the skies, flying and having a blast. Yeah. Exactly. So see you guys all in a lesson, the next lesson, and yeah, Shockwave out, and remember to like and subscribe and comment, and let me know what you guys think, and if you have any questions. Take it easy.